Imagine being dragged into an ancient stone courtyard. A roaring fire is burning in front of you. You've been accused of a capital crime, and the sentence is death. The person who ordered this execution is not a faceless king or distant magistrate. It is her own father-in-law, a powerful patriarch named Judah, who acts as the ultimate judge over his entire family. But the condemned woman, Tamar, does not beg for her life. Instead, as the guards prepare the fire, she quietly sends a messenger to Judah. The messenger hands him 3 specific personal items, along with a simple note. The man who owns these is the father. When Judah looks down at what the messenger is holding, he freezes completely. Right there on the spot, he halts the guards and cancels the execution order. What exactly were these 3 ordinary objects, and how did a condemned woman use them to stop a powerful judge in his tracks? To understand how Tamar ended up at that fire, we have to rewind. She married into Judah's family, but tragedy struck quickly. Her husband, Judah's oldest son, died. She then married the second son, Onan, who also died. The ancient texts simply record that both men committed actions that were wicked in the sight of the Lord. Onan's specific failure came down to extreme selfishness. In their culture, if your brother died childless, you had a strict obligation to marry his widow and provide children to carry on the deceased brother's lineage. Onan went through the motions of the marriage, but deliberately made sure no child would ever be conceived. After burying 2 sons, Judah only has 1 boy left, his youngest, Shelah. Terrified that Shelah will die too if he marries Tamar, Judah lies to her. He tells her to go back to her father's house and wait as a widow until Shelah is old enough to marry. Years pass. Shelah grows into an adult man. Yet Judah never sends for Tamar, completely ignoring the promise he made. Tamar eventually realizes the painful truth. She has been entirely abandoned. By keeping her trapped in widowhood indefinitely, Judah has stolen her future and denied her legal rights. If she wants to survive, she has to act. She takes off the widow's clothes she has been forced to wear for years. In their place, she wraps an opaque veil tightly around her face to completely hide her identity. She learns that her father-in-law is traveling out of town to shear his sheep, so she goes ahead of him and sits down right by the roadside at the entrance to a town called Enaim, directly in his path. Sure enough, Judah comes walking down the road. Seeing a woman sitting alone with her face completely covered, he makes a massive assumption. He thinks she is a roadside prostitute. He walks over and directly propositions her. When she asks what he will pay, he promises to send her a young goat from his flocks later on. But Tamar is planning several steps ahead. A verbal promise of a goat doesn't help her at all. She asks him to leave a physical pledge with her, a guarantee she can hold on to until the animal is delivered. She demands 3 specific items: his personal seal, its woven cord, and his carved wooden staff. In the ancient Middle East, these stamped clay documents to authorize major transactions. Together, they functioned exactly like a modern driver's license and legally binding signature combined. Driven by his immediate desires, Judah doesn't think twice. He hands over the absolute proof of his identity, walking perfectly into the trap Tamar set for him. Which brings us right back to the roaring fire in the stone courtyard. Judah is standing there, staring down at his own seal, his own cord, and his own staff. The realization hits him instantly. 3 months after their roadside encounter, he recognizes his ancient ID. The child his condemned daughter-in-law is carrying is his own. As the powerful patriarch, he could easily throw the items into the fire, proceed with the execution, and bury his secret to save his reputation. But he doesn't. He stops everything. In front of everyone gathered, Judah looks at the evidence and makes a stunning public admission. He declares, "She is more righteous than I, since I wouldn't give her to my son Shelah." By speaking those words, Judah openly owns his hypocrisy. He recognizes that while he neglected his duty and abandoned her, Tamar risked her life to ensure their family would survive. Tamar's risky mission succeeds. Months later, she goes into labor, carrying twins. The delivery is highly unusual. As she gives birth, one baby reaches a tiny hand out first. The midwife quickly ties a scarlet thread around its wrist to mark the firstborn. But the baby pulls his hand back, and his brother ends up being born first instead. These 2 boys are named Perez and Zerah. Through them, Tamar secures a permanent, honored place in history, preserving the ancient lineage of Judah. When you look closely at their story, you realize the person who appeared to be breaking all the rules was actually the only one keeping the most important promise. It shows us that true courage isn't about having a flawless record. Sometimes it's about having the deep bravery to stop, look at the evidence, and admit when you are wrong, just as Judah did.